I'm going to show you how to succeed as a Demonology Warlock in Season 4 of Dragonflight for both Mythic Plus and also raiding, and it's going to be very beginner-friendly and digestible, with no information overload. We're going to start off with the stat priority, and the first thing that I always say to everyone is that you should really be focusing on getting a higher and higher eye level, and therefore intellect, over looking too deeply at secondary stats when you are starting out with a new spec or you are a beginner to WoW. If you would like to delve a little bit deeper into the secondary stats, however, or just get a general feel for it, this is the priority I generally recommend, with haste coming up first, up to about 27%, then verse and crit, and then mastery, and then some more haste if you still have room. But generally, this is going to be personal to each individual depending on your gear, and I do advise you simulate your character. If you don't know what that is, join my Discord and we can help you. But again, especially as a beginner, just go for eye level and more intellect. If you're wondering what these stats do, haste is going to speed up your spell casting and your attack speed. Versatility is going to slightly increase damage done, but slightly reduce damage taken. Crit, of course, is critical strike chance, increasing a higher and higher chance to do double damage. And mastery increases the demon's damage, or the damage done by your demons. Of course, we're playing Demonology, and we are summoning a lot of demons. This talent tree on the left is for raiding and single target, and the one on the right is for Mythic Plus and more AoE builds. It's only a very small change between the two, again, so that it's more beginner friendly. There are other builds out there, vary a lot more, but let's start off with this one as it's the most simplest. Now, I'm not going to go through every individual talent, or the same with spells, but I am going to show you all of the core and very important ones you need to succeed. And then once you're more comfortable with the spec and you've had some practice, then I advise that you should look through your spellbook and talents and see how they all work together in unison with each other. And again, you can join the Discord if you have any more questions, of course. Before we get into the actual core rotation though, let's look at the core and exciting cooldowns and utilities we have at our disposal. As a Demonology Warlock, we've got Dark Pact and Unending Resolve on the top here. These are both defensive spells. Dark Pact sacrificing some of your health, but to give you an even bigger absorb shield. And then Unending Resolve is quite literally just going to reduce your damage taken by a certain amount for a short amount of time. Summon Tyrant on the bottom is our main offensive cooldown. I'm going to be talking about this more shortly in the rotation part of the video. It's a big old tyrant that we are going to summon, and this is actually going to empower our other demons as well as doing some damage. Moving on to the utilities then, Health Stones and Soul Stones are really interesting utilities we have. Health stones are something we can give out like little health cookies, or it's sort of like a Warlock's health potion for your party and raid members or yourself. Soul stones, meaning that you can store somebody's soul on their character, and when they die, they can immediately resurrect if they choose to on the spot where they were. See it as a battle res that's preemptive. Demonic Gateway, allowing you to shoot between one location to another. Really good for getting around, especially in dungeons and raids. Burning Rush, speed boost for you. You can see the picture here on my right. This is actually going to give you that speed boost at the cost of health, so healers may not like you too much if you keep this toggled on for too long. And then we've got a variety of different curses, which again, I'm not going to go through right now, but do check them out in your spellbook when you are more comfortable with the spec. And now that we're in game, we can have a look at the actual rotations for both single target and raiding, and also Mythic Plus, starting off with single target. My UI may look very different to yours, and if you're wondering why, that's because I use something called Elf UI. Somehow that's just turned into like a little mini haiku there. I don't know how that happened. If you would like to get this UI, you can actually get this through my Patreon. There's a link in the description for that. Help support the channel. You get a load of behind-the-scenes info, spreadsheets, and my UI, and a secret VIP channel in Discord if you wish, where we can help you out further with any questions you may have. The other thing on my UI is this here. It's by another add-on called Weak Aura, and basically, this is a way of showing all your resources in one central location where they're not scattered all over your screen, including resources and cooldown. So you'll see here we have 1, 2, and 3 little purple rectangles out of 5. This is our soul shard. We do use mana as a warlock, but because we're not a healer, we're never really going to run out of mana, and you don't need to worry about it. So the main resource we're tracking is soul shards. Some abilities are going to spend soul shards, some are actually going to generate them. So we're going to go through the spells one at a time. If you're wondering what demons you should be summoning, you can see here I've got my imps out, and also a Felguard. And these are the two I'm going to be using in this rotation. And then at the start here, we've got Grimoire Felguard. Summons a Felguard who attacks a target for 17 seconds. And you can see here, this is actually a secondary Felguard. It's not the same as the one you're summoning. It's actually another one. And that's going to deal 45% increased damage. The Felguard will stun and interrupt the target when summoned. So it's automatically going to interrupt your target on their spellcasting. We can also use Axe Toss here. The Felguard hurls its weapon, stunning and interrupting the target. And that'll be on our main Felguard. So that's our main way of interrupting as a Demonology Warlock. We then have our Summon Demonic Tyrant cooldown. Summoning a Demonic Tyrant to increase the duration of your Dreadstalkers, Vile Fiend, Felguard, and up to 10 of your Wild Imps by 15 seconds. These are all the demons we're going to be summoning. Your Demonic Tyrant increases the damage of your affected demons by 15% while also damaging your target, and it's going to generate 5 soul shards. You can see here we've got 2 out of 5, so Demonic Tyrant is going to generate 5. The cap is 5, and therefore you would like to time this when you've got none, so that you're not wasting any soul shard. We then have our Summon Vile. In fact, let's have a look at it. Here he comes! There he is. That's our big Demonic Tyrant. We then can summon a Vile Fiend to fight for you for the next 15 seconds. That's this big daddy here. And then we have Demonic Strength. On a 1-minute cooldown, infuse your Felguard with Demonic Strength and command it to charge your target and unleash a Fel Storm that will deal 300% increased damage. And then we have our Dreadstalkers. Summon 2 ferocious Dreadstalkers to attack the target. They are coming out... oh no, where are they? Oh, there they are. I'm blind. I thought they were coming out there, but it was our imps. We've then got the Hand of Gul'dan, calling down a demonic meteor full of wild imps which burst forth to attack the target, dealing shadow flame damage on impact and all enemies within 8 yards of the target, and summon some free wild imps based on soul shards consumed. So this is the main spell that is going to consume our soul shards. You can see here now we've got none. We then have Demon Bolt, and you can see it's actually procced from something here, and that's this one here called Demonic Core. That is a talent here. Demon Bolt, we get the ability from that talent, and then Demonic Core. When your wild imps expend all of their energy, they're going to implode. You have a 10% chance to absorb their life essence, granting you a stack of Demonic Core. When your summoned Dreadstalkers fade away, you've got a 100% chance to absorb their life essence, granting you a stack of Demonic Core. Demonic Core reduces the cast time of Demon Bolt by 100%, maximum of 4 stacks. So, TLDR, this ability here, Demon Bolt, we're only going to use it when it's instant and when it's procced, when it's got the little thing around it. That's the only time we're going to use it. We have Power Siphon here on a 30-second cooldown. Instantly sacrifice up to 2 wild imps, generating 2 charges of Demonic Core. Again, that's the cooldown or the proc that's going to activate our instant Demon Bolt that cause Demon Bolt to deal 30% increased damage. We've then got the Hand of Gul'dan. It's on here a second time. I'll explain why in a minute. And then we've got Shadow Bolt. This is our filler spell that, as you're going to see, is generating 1 soul shard every time we cast it. So how do we put this together into an actual rotation then? So first things first, we're going to use our Grimoire Felguard, and we're going to do that before we use our Summon Demonic Tyrant. We're then going to summon the Tyrant, and then our Vile Fiend, use our Demonic Strength, and then summon our Dreadstalkers in that order. Our next priority, so remember this isn't a rotation as such, but more of a priority list going from top priority to lowest priority. And that is why Hand of Gul'dan is on here twice. The next priority is to use Hand of Gul'dan if you have 4 to 5 soul shards. And you can see here, we've only got 3. So we're going to skip that step. And then it's going to be Demon Bolt. Only use it if you can use an instant cast. You can now see we've got 5 soul shards. So we're going to go back and use our Hand of Gul'dan. Of course, using our Dreadstalkers because we can. Remember, it's a priority list. So again, Hand of Gul'dan if we have 4 or 5 soul shards. Then it's an instant Demon Bolt if we can. If not, move on to Power Siphon, which at this point, we can now move back to our Demon Bolt, and then we can go on to Hand of Gul'dan again because we've got 5 soul shards, and then we can use our Dreadstalkers. Again, using Demon Bolt, and then using Hand of Gul'dan because we've got 4 soul shards. You start to see how it's coming together. After this, we're then going to use Hand of Gul'dan if we only have 3 soul shards. So it's up to you. If you are a beginner, then I would recommend that you maybe put your Hand of Gul'dan on here twice so that you can visualize the priority list a bit better. Here it is for 4 and 5 soul shards, and then here it is as 3. And you can work your way down that priority list, and that'll help you learn the rotation. And then finally, we have Shadow Bolt, which is quite literally a filler to generate soul shards. Let's go through that again. We're going to use our Grimoire Felguard, then our Summon Demonic Tyrant, then our Summon Vile Fiend, our Demonic Strength, our Dreadstalkers, If we've got 4 or 5 soul shards, we're going to use our Hand of Gul'dan. We're going to use our Demon Bolt if it's instant. We're going to use our Power Siphon. Then we're going to use Hand of Gul'dan if we've got 3 soul shards. And lastly, we're going to use Shadow Bolt to quite simply regenerate soul shards. Of course, you'll see at the start of the rotation things are coming off. I haven't been clicking them because I'm showing you the priority list, but you shouldn't be following it all the way down. But if we get to, say, here, if we get to Demon Bolt and it's instant, what we can go do is actually go back and use our Felguard. Ideally, you will use these two together. You can see the Summon Demonic Tyrant has a 1-minute cooldown and Grimoire Felguard has a 2-minute cooldown. So you can delay the Demonic Tyrant to work with your Felguard if necessary. So for every 2 Tyrants, you should get 1 Felguard, if that makes sense. So we use these together, then using our Vile Fiend, which is also on a 45-second cooldown, Demonic Strength, Dreadstalkers, using up those Soul Shards if you've got them, Power Siphon, instant one on here, use your Hand of Gul'dan at full Soul Shards. Now I've got nothing left, I'm going to use my Shadow Bolt to generate more Soul Shards so I can use it on my Hand of Gul'dan. And that is the rotation. And it's really, really that simple. The Mythic Plus and AoE variant of the build only changes a few talents. I can't change it over because I'm in combat and I'm waiting for my cooldowns to come off, but that's fine. We're quite literally only changing over Dreadlash. When your Dreadstalkers charge into battle, their Dreadbite attacks now hit all targets within 8 yards and therefore does AoE damage. The other main one we're getting is Implosion. Demonic forces suck all of your imps toward the target and then cause them to violently explode, dealing damage to all enemies within 8 yards. And you can use this really kind of here on the rotation, move this over one and put that Implosion in at this point in the priority list, and you'll use that to then implode them and obviously do AoE damage. That's really the only changes we're going to make for the AoE rotation. One thing you may be wondering about is, what does the set bonus do this season? If I bring it up here on Wowhead as an example, the 2 set is going to mean that consuming a demonic core, that's when you get your instant Demon Bolt, that's going to apply a debuff that explodes after 20 seconds, and casting Hand of Gul'dan reduces the duration of the primary target's Doom Brand by 1 second per soul shard spent, up to 3 seconds for 3 soul shards spent. And then the 4 set is that when the Doom Brand expires, you have a chance to summon a Doom Fiend that deals AoE damage to your targets. And basically that's it. It's quite passive. I've already worked it into the guide and the rotation you're seeing here, so you don't need to worry about doing anything extra once you obtain that 4 set. It's already built in for you. And that is pretty much it, guys. That is how you're going to play Demonology Warlock in Season 4 of Dragonflight for both patches 10.2.6, 10.2.7, and any other patches that come within Season 4, of course, before the War Within. If you did enjoy this video, you can let me know in the comments below what you thought. If you have any questions, you can also join the Discord. We've got a really friendly community that are always happy to help in there. And you can also join my Patreon if you need any extra help from me, or if you need to import my UI or get any add-on help. I've also got a compendium ebook type thing that I've made, and that is in the Discord as well, and that shows you, it's completely free, it's not, purchasable or anything, and that basically shows you how to simulate your character. It's got some really useful Discords in there that I recommend for finding guilds and things like that. And it also shows you how to, do logs on Warcraft logs and all of those useful things. I've written guides in there for you guys as well to try and help you along, especially if you are a beginner. And if you're looking for other specs, including Warlocks, of course, you can click this playlist here, which includes all PvE specs for Season 4 of Dragonflight. And I'll also be doing PvP and also dungeon guides this season on my channel as well, so you can check those out if you are interested.